Greetings to you once again. My name is Fortune Gezana. I come to you from the College of Marriage, Parenting and Family Affairs. It's a pleasure to share with you this Monday. I decided to sit in the garden today and to reflect on life and life's meanings. As you know, that as the College of Marriage, Family Affairs and Parenting, we believe that family life should be enjoyable, and that indeed we are not just here to kill time, but to also find meaning and well-being whilst we're here and enjoying our families. This past week, I experienced a death in the family. I lost my brother-in-law, a dear friend, somebody that indeed I shared many wonderful times and memories with. And I began to reflect on the meaning of relationships and family. And one of the things that came to mind was what I would like to call a principle of blink first. You're probably wondering, what are you going on about when you're talking about blink first? And so I even chose to sit in the garden today because, as you can see in my background, there is a cross. And for me, that is a symbol of blinking first. It is said that in Luke 15, there is a story of the prodigal son. And if you read that chapter and that story, you begin to realize that there was this family, and this family got along very well. And everybody, I assume, loved each other until a certain point and a certain action by one of the sons who decided to venture out, enjoy life, see what was out there. He did. And at some point, the story goes that he became desperate and broke and had finished all the wealth that he had gathered for himself as he left home. And he got so desperate that he began to feed on the pigs' feed at his employer. It is said that he then came to his senses and said, you know what, I need to go home. Even my father's servants are not treated like this, and they eat bread and they have bread to spare. And that's what the story says. So as I reflected on my departed brother-in-law's life, I realized that we always didn't get along. And at some point we actually were not talking to each other. And it was one of those sore moments in my life. I regret, because indeed life does have a certain way of turning very short on us. And he's no longer with us. But I'm grateful for one thing. And what I'm grateful for is that I believe he blinked first. In as much as we at some point didn't get to see eye to eye for one reason or the other, he was gracious enough to blink first and extend forgiveness. And we closed ranks and began to relate again to each other. Little did I know that, a few years down the track, he wouldn't be with us. And how dreadful that would have been had he died without us having forgiven one another. And so the reason why I termed this blinking first is that as we relate in families, usually we want to be the ones that, for one reason or the other, hold on to unforgiveness and hold on to being right, and making sure that we have our egos soothed, we have our, for whatever reason, being right recognize that it is me who was right and you were wrong. But as life would have it, right or wrong, there is what we call the passage of time. And when your time is up, guess what? We will no longer be in the same space, sharing the same stage, because life, by its nature, has a way of taking away from us our very loved ones. And so my encouragement today is that be the one who blinks first. Just like the prodigal son's father, when he saw him afar off, he rejoiced. And he didn't think about how the son had taken away all these things from him and had gone to squander it with harlots and wild living. But he remembered that this was my son. This is a person that I love. And so I will not hold anything against him, but I will embrace him. I will take him in, and I will blink first. My question to you, my dear friends, as you watch this clip, who is it in your family that you are holding against anything, whatever it is, whether they wronged you or whether you wronged them? Who will blink first? What would that mean as far as your relationship is concerned? Do you really have to hold on to whatever wrong that has been done to you? Will it help? And so I would like to encourage you to do the following. So I want to borrow from the Bible a lesson, and this is Luke 15 verse 22. But the father said to his servants, "Bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet. And bring the fatted calf here and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again, and he was lost and is found." And they began to be merry. And so for me, the key things here are the father said, "For this my son was dead and is alive again." Forgiveness has a way of bringing back the dead and bringing it back to life. Relationships can die because we do not forgive. And so it's a choice. Do you keep the relationship dead, or you bring it alive through forgiveness? The second part, it says, he was lost and is found, and they began to be merry. So your relationship can be lost, but it is up to you and I to find it and to find one another. I would like to urge you, as you relate to your children, as you relate to your wife, your husband, your aunts, your uncles, that let us find one another. Let us forgive each other. Let us bring the dead and the lost relationship back to life. And we can do it. And the simple medicine that is available to do that is to what? Is to forgive. And forgiveness, when all is said and done, I would say is the best and probably most practical way that we love one another. For God so loved the world that he gave us his son. But what did the son come to do? He came to forgive, to forgive our sins. And so for me, one of the greatest expressions of loving one another is to forgive one another. And even the Bible goes on to encourage us that if you have a gift that you want to give to God, before you do that and you have something against your brother, leave the gift behind. Go and sort out the relationship with your brother that you are not getting along with. And then once that is done, then you can come and present your gift. So forgiveness is probably one of the greatest forms of loving each other within families. And so that is my encouragement today. Do not wait until somebody has passed on. And now that you are regretting that I never actually had a chance to say I am sorry, or that I forgive you, or whatever it is, but forgiveness is probably, in my books, one of the greatest forms of showing how you love your family members. And may God bless you with this insight that indeed we can forgive one another, we can be forgiven, and that we can enjoy life once we are in that spirit of forgiveness and forgiving. This is Fortune Gezana. I hope this Family Affairs Monday will bless you, and that you will remember that indeed you do have the power to let go and let God. Thank you.